Hey guys, I just entered a couple of trades, so we'll make this video show the setup. This is New York session, so I'm not doing the live webinar at the moment, and we just had high impact news for New York. So there were two setups basically at the same time, so I put a little on each. Two positions short here. So we have the AU. Now we have, without going too far back, we can just see cleanly here it's an uptrend. There's a climactic volume, fake breakout pattern, right? Nothing new here. Showing weakness, sellers coming in. This is distribution phase. And this is where you're no longer looking to go long, but looking to go short. And then we have today, and that's really strong in the background as far as weakness. And I always like the fake break pattern too for that. So we can now look to go counter trend since there's weakness in the background to that extent with that much volume. So today we have a couple of levels marked up going in, which is the usual zone up here, which could have provided an opportunity. But also we had, so let's get rid of that. And we had just a simple fib. And the first fib retracement after climactic volume is a good place to look for additional weakness to come in. Now it is showing up on the 1 hour. There's some high volume coming in that fib, but even without that, if you have strong weakness there, and then a small time frame setup. So let's get in there now on the small time frame, see the entry. So it's simply climactic volume to go against the trend in the background, and then the first fib retracement after, which is a nice pattern and a good place to look for a setup if it sets up properly. So news finally brought it here. So this is New York news. So it finally brought it into that fib zone, right? And you see the way it respected 618, very clean. So this is the news move coming as a sign of weakness. You can see there's no follow through. And as I say, it's the reaction to the news move that's more telling than the initial move. The initial move was up, but the reaction was no follow through. VSA-wise is a sign of weakness. And it's in an area that I had predetermined when I first did my analysis many hours ago, to look for a potential setup. So, the plan sort of came together. Going forward, I took a pretty early entry here. So here's a no demand. And as long as it's not up in this area really would like to see higher volume, as in signs of weakness. So we're just below that. So I'm just pointing out that we are below that, and I do have a rule about that. But we're here, and technically that's a no demand. And the volume really did drop off pretty dramatically, pretty quickly. But it was pretty soon after news. So it may be aggressive in that way. So there's technically a no demand here. Without a close above, it's still valid, and I got in just below here, just as that closed, actually. So closing below the no demand. Now it's at the 14 EMA, where it tends to do more testing before it continues, more often than not. Always look out for that 14 EMA. If there's weakness in testing for buyers, or the other way around, strength. And the low volume here is not a bad sign at all. That's exactly what you want on the test. So, if we continue up, we may double top. We see that so often. So, of course, my stop is just outside of that whole situation, so I don't run into that. But low volume on this test so far is a good sign. Basically, it could show more, lack of demand. Also, if you notice the little pattern in here, I guess we're going to have to call, okay, so we'll call this, basically, this area is the automatic support for now. But it did do a little testing here. But yeah, so there could always be additional push through entries or whatever. But I'm in that trade now. Okay, so there's that. And then the G is short. So again, similar situation. There's not much different here. And there's the fib area, the background. And we get in here. A slight overshoot of 618 happens a lot. Somebody actually pointed out, is it in the thread or somewhere, a number in here that they like to look at. So I think they may be talking about what I say as an overshoot of 618. It goes a little further sometimes, but quickly comes back. That's what I need to see. I can't sit up there. So this is ideal. We just get rejected on high volume and come back. We also had R1 there, so it was an area of confluence. But as it often does, it overshot and quickly returned, so that's fine. And it's a good thing to see there, of course, as the news reaction and all that. So going forward, again, 14 EMA, you get these tests. This one's no demand right there, the 14 EMA. And that coincided with the AU no demand, so it was basically at the same time that I'm entering the two as they moved below. Now this one's, again, they're very much in sync. There's been a lot of correlation lately. So it looks like a low volume test for buyers, and hopefully we'll continue down. But that's the setup. And again, stop is always allowing for a double top fake break. So whatever that may be. And sometimes if that's bigger than usual, I'll just go smaller position, so I'm not over risking. But I handle it as I go. Today, actually, I took a loss of, what was it? Oh, I took a half position loss only because I closed half of my position at break even when I saw an issue with a trade. So, trying to avoid full position, full stop loss, getting hit situation as much as possible and sort of reacting in real time to what the chart is saying. I was talking about that today, and we experienced that today with a trade. So limiting risk and not just staying in a trade because you got in it, but it's not looking good anymore. In that case, I tend to trim down my risk. A small loss is better than a big loss. So that's that. All right, guys. So maybe I'll sort of not officially end this video so I can maybe continue and see how the trade is playing out. So we'll see how that goes if I'm able to do that. All right. All right. I'm back. So I just took some partial profit on the GU here at the daily pivot and moved my stop to break even. This one, the AU, it's only about 15 pips or so up. This one was more like 20 something. So I didn't take profit yet, but I did move my stop to break even. So no more risk on the trade. Stop at break even on both trades, and a little profit taken on the GU. So now I'm just going to let it run. I have some further targets. I mean, basically, we're at the top of distribution, or at a fib retracement fairly high up. So definitely, now that my risk is gone, I'm going to let these run and try to catch a bigger move. All right, that's it. All good.